were some teams that have maybe stood out now that we've poured over hours and hours of tape of senior seasons, and you're looking at guys, most of the guys inside the top 247 now committed to programs. So you have an idea of what these classes are going to look like. Who has stood out to you?
I'm going to go with Texas A&M. I don't know how many guys officially moved into the top 247 that were committed to them, but as we were building out this top 247, like the Aggies flipped some of the guys that were committed elsewhere that would already moved up the board. Cooper, we continue to rave about Mike Elko, what he's going to be able to do as a recruiter. I think it's finding guys with developmental upside, and you look at this commit list, DJ Sanders, big nose tackle. We've compared him to Kenneth Grant in the past. He's up a bunch of spots into round 2. Rashad Johnson, safety out of Florida. They flip him from Georgia. Rashad Johnson's now a top 100 player for us. Big frame, boundary safety that can come up and smack people with elite track speed. You also got Jameer Beal-Goins, a feisty yet fast cornerback out of Arizona. Love what he has done here as a senior. Marco Jones, you talk to some people in College Station, they think he's the hidden gem of this class. Greg Biggins out on the West Coast for us loves Marco Jones. We try to get him higher in the rankings, but Coop, as we assembled this top 247, we love everyone, right? Everyone has traits. Everyone has upside. We're looking for those guys that have arrows pointing it up. And I think the cherry on top, Cooper, for Texas A&M is it's Husan Longstreet, right? We tried to, as a group, come up with a player comparison for him. We were all over the board. I think we had Spencer Rattler thrown out, Malik Willis, Russell Wilson. My player comp for Husan Longstreet, it's Jalen Milroe, the Alabama quarterback. I think they're both two large, muscled-up quarterbacks that can beat defenses via the scramble and design runs. They're streaky as passers, but when they get hot, man, they are absolutely locked in. Just like how Jalen Milroe will hit that 2 ball for a big touchdown, Husan Longstreet can do the same thing. Missed some time early on in his senior season. It's take a while to kind of hit his stride, but he is starting to play his best football. Just kind of love what Mike Elko is assembling. I think they're going to make a ton of noise in the SEC for the years to come.
Hard not to love what they're doing. You talk to people around College Station, they really like that group as well. It's a very different style than what we saw under Jimbo Fisher, which obviously those guys were big game hunting. I think Mike Elko, his staff, they'll do their fair share of that. Top to bottom, though, a little bit more consistency in terms of the type of player and the type of person that they're bringing in this program. I think that's kind of what Mike Elko and his staff are aiming for. Drew, I'm going to stick inside the SEC. I'm going to be a homer here, but LSU, it just seems like every guy that we evaluated as seniors in the top 247 really impressed us. Harlem Berry moves up from the number 2 running back to the number 1 running back in the country out of St. Martin's High School there in New Orleans. You got Cade Phillips, Drew, that we kind of went back and forth between him and Brandon Finney, who was going to be that 4th corner. Cade Phillips is one of those guys that we love. He's up in a big-time way. Charles Ross, you think about the linebackers that have come through LSU, kind of reminds us a little bit of Damone Clark, and this kid can absolutely roll sub 10.4 in the 100-meter. We thought he was a little bit more one-dimensional, maybe more of a height, weight, speed guy. He showed some instincts this year. I like where he's trending with his development. Carius Kern, another guy out of Arkansas, big interior offensive lineman. I think he could play tackle if you need it, but I love his projection on the interior as an offensive guard. Brad Davis has done a tremendous job there. And then Aiden, Drew, how about this one? Kind of reminds me a little bit of Dante Jackson, maybe not the speed, but this kid can roll. He's got a dynamic track and field background. I know you'll probably touch on that a little bit. This is a really, really sneaky get for Corey Raymond, who already has guys like DJ Pickett, Cade Phillips in the boat. They have size. But to get a guy like Aiden, who can play a little corner on the outside, slide in, play some nickel, maybe play deep safety as well. I love the versatility there. Plus, they add Jacob Bradford, too. That secondary, it's been an Achilles heel under Brian Kelly since he's been there. The talent feels so much different than it did in the first 2 years. Now with Corey Raymond back in the boat, Drew, I look at LSU. It is hard not to get really, really, really excited about their future, more so defensively. We feel like they've been recruiting well offensively for a while. Now you got Underwood, Berry, those guys, but it's defensively what they're doing. That should have every LSU fan really optimistic.
Yeah, Coop, they got our number 1 ranked quarterback, our number 2 ranked, or number 1 ranked running back. I think it's the defense, right? 2 guys you didn't even mention, Kyle Johnson, Jacob Bradford, not Kyle Johnson. Get my Louisiana DBs mixed up, but just what Blake Baker's been able to do. We saw Whit Weeks in that game over the weekend against Ole Miss, kind of just making plays at all three levels as an off-ball linebacker. I think Jaden Breaker has that in him as well. Green numbers across the board. That's a guy that they went into Georgia to get. You said it, Aiden Anding, I think one of the best inside corners. Jacob Bradford, is he a safety? Is he a slot corner? Is he an outside corner? I don't think it really matters. When you turn on the tape, what he is doing here as a senior, you'll be hard-pressed to find a bunch of other defenders that are as polished as him and are moving the way he does. LSU, absolutely. This is setting up really well for Brian Kelly. Might take some time for it all to come together, but how they are attacking the high school ranks, few others are doing it like them.
Drew, pleasure as always. Tip of the cap to you and the rest of the boys at 24/7 Sports for the great job that they do on the scouting side. Guys, just a reminder, you're locked in to the 105. You can find us every Monday and Wednesday. Monday, CBS Sports Network. Wednesday, right here on the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel. You can also find us on the airwaves wherever you find your podcasts. For Andrew Ivins, our producer, Aaron Grisham, I'm Cooper Patagna. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next Monday.